I continue to believe that she has not jeopardized America's national security. Now, what I've also said is that, and she's acknowledged that there's a carelessness.
And she will be treated no differently?
Guaranteed, full stop. Nobody gets treated differently when it comes to the Justice Department because nobody is above the law.
All right, to former Attorney General Michael Mukasey on that, how it plays out. Judge, always good to have you.
Good to be here.
Do I understand, sir, that the distinction that the President was making was intent, and that she did not intend to do anything fast or loose or improper? Your argument is negligence or stupidity is not an excuse.
Well, it's not my argument. What's in the statute that General Petraeus pleaded guilty to, which is only a misdemeanor, simply requires that you intentionally put the stuff where it shouldn't be. It doesn't require that you intentionally do damage or anything of the sort.
He went to the leap of sharing information with a girlfriend.
Well, first of all, he wasn't charged with that. But secondly, she had top secret clearance.
Understood.
And none of that information got out. So
the issue was that it was at his home.
The issue was that it was at his home. And that it was, yeah, the issue was that it was at his home and that it was shown to somebody who didn't have clearance to see it.
So the distinction with Hillary Clinton is what?
The distinction with, there is no distinction. Hillary Clinton put classified information on a server that was not secure, and that's, she caused it to be put there. There's no distinction at all. Going further, if it's information that relates to national defense, whether she acted with gross negligence is not a defense. In fact, that's the standard under that law, and that's a felony.
All right, but when the gist of the argument, and I think you've raised it in the past, paraphrasing, the gross negligence in handling classified information related to national defense is enough for criminal liability.
Correct.
So by that definition, she's in hot water.
Yeah, and he didn't really do her any favors by saying that she was negligent. I think he was trying to appeal to what he thought was people's misunderstanding of the law, rather than what the law actually...
He also took the leap of saying nothing was compromised here. I'm paraphrasing that. Do we know that?
No, we don't know that, and I'd like for somebody to ask his press secretary whether he's getting regular briefings on the progress of the investigation. I seriously doubt that he is, and if he's not, then he's talking through his hat. He doesn't know whether national security was compromised or not.
Or he's just lying.
That could be.
How big a thing will this ultimately be, Judge? I mean, where do you see this all going?
It's going to be, it already is, very large. It is a criminal investigation of somebody who's running for the presidency. It could very well end with the bringing of one or more charges.
Now, the way it would work, and you school me through this, the FBI would recommend Justice taking action. Justice doesn't have to take action, right?
Correct.
So that will be the fallout if that's exactly what plays out.
If that's the way it plays out, I seriously think you're going to get a lot of leaks from the FBI about what's there, and perhaps one or more high-level resignations, because there are people who will simply not put up with that. But I would stress that the FBI, even at this point, is working with people at the Justice Department. So I think we've, in essence, crossed part of that bridge.
You know, this has become such a politicized affair. It's, what is it, 8 out of 10 Democrats think it's much ado about nothing. 8 out of 10 Republicans think it's much ado about something. How do you break, when you explain it to friends on the left and the right, how do you explain what's at stake here?
What's at stake here is simply the rule of law, whether laws apply to everybody or only to some people. The laws are very clear about how you're supposed to treat classified information. They're very clear about what happens to you if with gross negligence you allow information relating to the national defense to be put where it shouldn't be. They're very clear on what happens if you destroy federal records, which she may very well have done.
Was there anyone asking in the early days, why are you putting this on a private server? Now, the rap against Hillary Clinton was that she was doing so that nothing could get out, what she was doing under her stewardship of the State Department when she was running for president. that's, of course, become a moot point now. But where were the check and the recheck people who would say, no, you can't do that?
Well, if you have people working on your staff who are unwilling to say no to you, then you don't get that check.
How about if they were stupid, too?
They weren't just stupid. They knew better. There's ample evidence about email exchanges with at least one of them saying, I need to wait for a secure fax, and her saying, convert it into unpaper and just send it, which means that she knew how it worked as far as taking the classification off, and he did too.
Is it safe to say that any cables that come your way as a sitting Secretary of State by nature are secure and sensitive material?
You would think that nothing would make its way to the Secretary of State that wasn't at least sensitive. Plus, there's stuff on there that clearly came from human intelligence sources and that clearly came from electronic intelligence sources. There are 22 emails that the State Department is saying it's not going to release. It's never going to release because nobody should see them. It's inconceivable that people weren't aware that that was classified, and for her to say that, well, they weren't marked, that's not what determines. They're marked because they're classified. They're not classified simply because they're marked.
Judge, thank you. The former U.S. Attorney General Michael Mukasey. This is getting deeper and deeper, scary and scary.